Okay, this is the conservatorian here. Again, I'm going to touch upon something I think it's counterproductive. This whole Walter Wallace Jr. shooting in Philadelphia, close to where I grew up. I grew up in the suburban Philly area, about a half hour, 45 minutes west of the city. I know West Philadelphia very well, where this happened. I taught in West Philadelphia for a short time. It really opened my eyes, and I'm going to give you a background because here on the screen you see Jason Whitlock from Outkick, and he gives a great summary of. I think we're focusing in on the wrong issues. We're focusing in on the wrong narrative, because again, you have a man who has a criminal background, has a criminal history. He has mental issues. He was shot by the police for refusing to put down the knife. He had a knife. He was called to the scene for it was a domestic incident. And he came out of the door with a knife. And he was shot after being told to put down the knife by Philadelphia police. So in West Philadelphia, it's one of the parts of the city that has notorious gang violence. It's known for drugs, prostitution, high crime, lawlessness. Having taught in West Philly, I've seen it firsthand. My students came from fatherless homes. One kid was in 8th grade. He was supposed to be in the 10th grade. So he was 2 grades behind. I actually had one of the assistant principals sat me down and said, we're going up to the floor with the 7th and 8th grade. The kids are 13, 14, 15 years old. Are you sure you're ready for this? And he was a black Muslim named Mohammed. And I'll never forget it. He actually sat me on the stairs and said, son, are you ready for this? Because these kids are out of control. There's no father in the home. They come from massive poverty. We're talking below the poverty line. And he says, do you understand our poverty here in the school? 92% of the kids are below the poverty line. We're not talking at the poverty. We're talking below the poverty. The household makes under $20,000 a year, okay? So this is where the shooting happened. And again, the media is running the other direction, that he was murdered, and they're highlighting his parents, his family, his attorney. They have athletes, and there's celebrities. Bernie Sanders, you're going to see a tweet that he said that Walter Wallace was murdered. And the point is, I'm not pointing out that he was a bad guy and he should have been murdered or should have been killed, because he wasn't murdered. He was shot justifiably by the police. You do not come at the police with a weapon. They are trained to shoot. They're not trained to be counselors. That's not how it works. When they are called to the scene, they are called there to squash an incident. And Walter Wallace ultimately lost his life. Now, if the police came and he didn't have a knife, and it might have turned out a lot, differently. But I want you to hear Jason Whitlock just give a little summary on what I'm talking about here. How America has kind of looked the other way when it comes to bad behavior of people. I mean, this guy had a criminal record. Let's not mince words here. Doesn't mean he should have been killed. I'm not saying that. We got to start teaching our kids, our young people, that this behavior is not acceptable. It could get you hurt. Okay, he did. He had, and this Walter, he had 7 kids by the age of 26. We got to teach our kids not to go that route. Okay, let's take a look at Jason Whitlock.
Police were called to the area where he was shot and killed 3 times during that day because of his behavior. And it finally ended with him holding the knife and aggressively coming towards police as they had drawn weapons and asked him to drop the knife. He would not do it. He was shot. In this new normalized America we have, that's been brought to us by athletes, celebrities, the mainstream media, the reaction to a career criminal, violent criminal, who punched his mother in the face and threatened to kill her, is for widespread rioting, looting, and vandalism to transpire in that city. That's how we stand up to the police and stand up for Walter Wallace Jr. I have some sympathy for Walter Wallace Jr. He's bipolar. I get it. There are a lot of criminals who are bipolar. I get it. He was on lithium, I believe I read. I get it. But what are the police supposed to do? Knives do harm and kill and permanently damage people. The police, you can watch the video of what happened to Walter Wallace, but the police have watched countless videos of criminal suspects injuring police officers with knives and guns. And so what are they supposed to have disregard for their own life? As well, I know this guy's got a criminal rap sheet. He's coming at me with a knife, but LeBron James and Colin Kaepernick wouldn't approve if I defended myself within the laws of America.
Okay, that's a good point. It goes on, but he brings up that it's the normalization of criminal activity. Okay, your focus on the emotional aspect of death. Yes, death is no good. Nobody wants to see death, but there needs to be accountability, and we're teaching our kids that because Walter Wallace Jr. They had him in a picture on the local ABC affiliate Channel 6. He's wearing a bow tie. He looks like a really, a put-together young man who was tiptoeing through the daisies and was murdered by police. Not true. You gotta stop telling that story. He came at him with a knife, and you have to teach our kids, you can't do that. And his family, did they get him any help? Or they just put him on prescription medication? If he had all these problems, get the guy some help. Our system, yes, can fail, but it's not just the police that fails. Okay. This is what Bernie Sanders, the genius. Walter Wallace should be alive today, and our thoughts are with his loved ones, the police responsible for murdering him. This is a sitting United States Senator. He ran for president twice. He has a huge following. Millions and millions of people follow his policies, his progressive socialist utopia. And he's telling them he was murdered. Okay? This should be investigated, arrested. People, instead of getting him, he should be arrested, investigated, and prosecuted. But okay, so he knows how the police should operate. He is an expert in police work. These are the same people that think that the police should shoot him in the leg. They should tase him. So you know what? Go be a police officer. You go through the training. There are plenty of videos of people that think they know it all about police. Then they go on police rides. They give them a pretend gun, and bam, the first thing they do when they're in danger, it's human nature. They pull the trigger. And they're left with their thoughts of, wow, I really didn't know how police, I didn't really know. Police have a hard job. This makes me more mad than anything else. This happened in August of 2020, August of this year. This makes me more upset than anything else. We have a 7-year-old boy caught in crossfire among those killed in a violent weekend across Philadelphia. Okay. Zamar Jones, this young boy who was killed playing with his toys. and some ignorant, disgusting human beings decided to have a gunfight over probably some squabble, and this boy was shot in the head and killed. Did you hear about it? Nope. So far, 257 people have been killed. This is in August, so I'm sure this has gone up in Philadelphia more than 1992. You get this? This boy, 7 years old, shot and killed in West Philadelphia, in the same neighborhood, in the same area of Philly as Walter Wallace Jr. Did he get an article on CNN? Nope. Did he get a Black Lives Matter parade and a vigil? Nope. Did he get a tweet from LeBron James and Bernie Sanders and other rappers, musicians, and actors? Nope. 16 shots were fired in that neighborhood, and one of them caused a little boy to die. They charged this 27-year-old Christopher Linder. And the left-wing activist says, we have people out there that talk about this stuff. Yeah, so they have this Philadelphia Cure the Violence. It's an organization that talks about stopping neighborhood violence and murders. But the media just ignores it. If I did a Google search, an autocorrect, an auto fill-in of the Walter Wallace Jr. comes right up. How about Zamar Jones, Philadelphia? Okay. Right, comes up. Walter Wallace Jr. Here's his Instagram, Facebook. Here's all this news story about him. The Wall Street Journal talks about police reforms. Channel 10, Channel 6. Okay, Fox Philly. They all cover this. But this boy, he received no love. Right? None. That really annoys me. So they'll put up some posters. But Bernie Sanders, CNN, they'll move the narrative that he was murdered. Now you can come up with your own conclusions, but I'm seeing a pattern here. And the left-wing activists will say this, well, this is not the same as police. Death is death, my friends. Death is death. And if you're going to highlight this, you damn sure better start highlighting this, because this is happening more frequently. This is a career criminal who chased police with a knife. And he gets the headlines. His family gets airtime. Whereas Zamar Jones, his family, the phones aren't ringing in their houses. TV producers. Okay? We should check our priorities. Check our priorities, please. This has nothing to do with politics. Alright. Well, check out my other videos. I'll be making more as we go on, and make sure you get out to vote, because a lot is on the line. Okay, have a good day.